قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Can we please begin with a Fatiha followed by a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad? Something we should think about this month is the idea of home. What is a home? A home is a place in which we feel most comfortable. Think about the last time you slept over at your friend or cousin's house. I mean, you were relaxed, but were you really comfortable? In that, would you be able to call that place your home? Hence, we have the saying, home is not a place, it's a feeling. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran over and over again that this dunya, this material realm, is not our home. He says, وَمَا حَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَعِبٌ وَلَهُ. The life of this world is nothing but diversion and play. Therefore, we conclude that our home is not here. So then where is our home? In the Quran we read, Allah invites to the abode of peace, and He guides whomever He wishes to a straight path. The word for abode is dar, and dar, one of its meaning can be home. Our true home is with Allah. He is our beloved, but we are asleep to this truth. We have made this lowly dunya our home. And why? Because we have such an ego within us that we deem ourselves enough for ourselves. We have fallen in love with ourselves, and this love now overshadows our love for Allah. I'll end with one verse to think about. And whoever leaves his home, migrating towards Allah and His Apostle, and is then overtaken by death, his reward shall certainly fall on Allah. Imam Khomeini gives a tafsir here. He explains that whoever leaves the false home, which is the self, and migrates towards their true home, which is with Allah and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, their self and this ego will die, and they will give themselves to Allah truly and be true, sincere followers. This Ramadan, let us leave the abode of this dunya and let us travel to Allah, to our true home, so that we may attain the real Islam and the real peace that we're being invited to. And with that, I would like to welcome Sayyid Hassan Mushtaba Rizvi to the Mambar with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. أما بعد, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The brother has mentioned a few things, and I'll just carry on from it. I would have had, or the brother would have had, more of your attention if the topic that he was going to talk about is, how to fall in love with Samsung, or how to fall in love with iPhone, or Facebook, or Twitter, or TikTok, or Marvel Universe, or something of that sort. All of these things would have been more familiar to us the topic of falling in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I was here about 15, 20 minutes earlier. Actually, about 40 minutes earlier. The brother was reciting dua in a very beautiful voice, and he had the emotions as well, and I felt from his voice that there was no riya, there was no show off in his voice. He was sincere. Yet in the audience, I only saw 2 or 3 people actually reciting the dua with him. I felt that they were connected to the words of the dua, and they felt something inside of their heart of an emotion of perhaps the love or fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the rest of the brothers, they had in their hands what they love. And that was their phones. So, yes, the dua was being recited and all that, but every one of us was with whom we love. And on the day of judgment, we will be resurrected with that. So the brothers who were, the sisters who are in love with Samsung or iPhone, that's basically where you're going to be. Or TikTok, you'll be resurrected with those individuals. So the sin in itself is not something of a rational mind. It's a feeling, it's an inclination, it's an attraction. And we can deceive ourselves as much as we want, but the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seems to be the most foreign idea for us. The brother also mentioned that, this world is not our home. We need to go back home. A few 100,000 years ago, there was I'm just using as an analogy. A few 100,000 years ago, there was a spaceship that landed. A man and a woman came out of that. It was a new planet for them. They were not of this planet. They started living. Everything was new. They had children, and these children had children. And these children knew that we are not of this planet. We have arrived. Our parents have arrived. We are living, and one day we're going to go back home. But as time went by, these children forgot. I don't know if I have to make 2 + 2 is 4, but you probably understand who I'm talking about. Anybody? Just to see if my analogy worked out. Who were the man and woman that I'm talking about that were not of this planet and they landed here? Who was it? Yes. 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 Our father and mother. We are their children. We're classified as Bani Adam. So, when the brother said this is not our home, it's not. We're here for a specific number of breaths. The counter is your breaths. It's not your age. That I'll die at 70 or 80 or 90 or 100 or 120. That's not the counter. The counter is your breaths. That one breath I took in and took out is one less from that counter. My breaths are counted. In my age, it's not really my age because, people get very personal about how old they are. There's nothing personal about that. That's not my age. If you're wondering, I'm 40. I'll be 49